All right, welcome back, Focus Learners. Today we're diving into a seriously fascinating explainer. We're exploring a text that sits right at the intersection of ancient myths and modern science. Let's deconstruct how history, biology, and physics might actually be shaping our socioeconomic realities right now.
So I want you to think about this for a second. What if ancient mythology was actually advanced science, just hiding in plain sight? What if the stories passed down for thousands of years weren't just religious fables, but encrypted quantum physics and evolutionary biology? This is the massive paradigm shift we're unpacking today, and it all centers around an incredible 18-year research thesis by author Nayak.
Okay, let's dive right into this. The source material for our explainer today is a highly provocative manifesto titled Kalki 2026. Written by Nayak, this work sets out to impartially deconstruct what the author calls a 3,000-year-old Syndicate Software. Nayak claims this system basically hijacked ancient scientific intelligence, turning the pure physics of the universe into tools for mental slavery and resource extraction. Today, we're going to objectively explore the exact claims made in this text.
Here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to decode the BGVA nature code, look at the atomic trinity, and map out biological evolution. Then, we'll scale things up to look at the 1090 economy, Hiranagpar's legal sovereignty, and finally, wrap up with the Kalki 2026 mission itself. All right, starting off with our first major paradigm shift, the BGVAN nature code, and unlocking the elements. According to Nayak's thesis, the word Bhagwan, which we usually translate as God, isn't actually a personified deity sitting up in the heavens. Instead, the text claims it's an ancient master scientific code. It's an acronym for the 5 states of matter and energy. B is for Bhoomi, the solid state or earth. G is for Gagan, representing space or the vacuum. V stands for Vayu, the gaseous state. A is for Agni, meaning energy or thermodynamics, and N is for Neer, the liquid state. The author argues that a historical syndicate deliberately turned these natural elements into idols. Why? To quietly steal the actual physical resources they represent, like land, water, and minerals.
And this brilliantly illustrates how these ancient concepts map straight onto the scientific states of matter: solid, plasma, gas, energy, and liquid. The book suggests that by conditioning people to pray to personified elements, this ancient syndicate effectively stopped the masses from questioning who actually owned the physical resources. It's a powerful argument for placing pure physics over mythological frequencies.
Moving right along to our second concept, decoding the atomic trinity, where physics takes precedence over religion.
Now this part takes us down to the subatomic level, and it's definitely controversial. Nayak's research maps the traditional Hindu trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, directly to atomic physics. Brahma the creator lines up with the proton, the positive charge driving creation from the nucleus. Vishnu the preserver is the neutron, the neutral force maintaining structural balance. And Shiva the destroyer? That's the electron, the negatively charged, constantly moving energy that drives transformation. The book suggests this quantum knowledge was deliberately encrypted into religion to enforce blind obedience. The logic is, you can't extort resources in the name of an electron, but you definitely can in the name of an angry deity.
It's pretty wild to see how neatly the text aligns these ancient roles with the fundamental structure of an atom. The author claims this anthropomorphizing actively cut off the masses from true quantum understanding, replacing scientific inquiry with ritualistic fear.
Next up, we shift from physics to biology in Section 3, avatars as biological evolution and the genetic map. The text deconstructs the Dash avatar, the 10 avatars of Vishnu, but not as supernatural descents. Instead, it reads them as an incredibly accurate ancient documentation of biological evolution. Walking through the timeline, it starts with Matsya, the fish, representing aquatic origins. Then Kurama, the tortoise, marking the amphibian transition to land. Next is Varaha, the boar, representing full mammalian development. This is remarkably followed by Narasimha, the half-man, half-lion, which the book identifies as the crucial hominid transition phase between wild beasts and early humans. The author argues this entire genetic map was stolen and rebranded as mythology. This entire evolutionary journey across 24 distinct avatars ultimately leads up to the final phase, Kalki. But in Nayak's decoding, Kalki is not a physical warrior riding a horse. Instead, Kalki represents the digital speed of artificial intelligence, the white horse, and the sharp sword of genetic science, It's described as a final upgrade in human consciousness, aimed at rebooting the corrupted historical system through logic and hard data.
All right, let's zoom out to society in Section 4, the 1090 protector economy, and ending the predator syndicate.
So once you understand the physics of resources, you have to look at how they're actually divided up. The manifesto lays out this Ulgulan mandate, which translates to revolution, to completely flip the global hierarchy. It states that the administrative and managerial class, the top 10%, is only entitled to a management fee for their labor. The remaining 90% of rights, wealth, and decision-making power must belong to the protectors, the farmers, builders, and workers who actually generate value in society.
The manifesto heavily contrasts two distinct models: the current predator economy, which the author claims relies on debt traps, digital slavery, and tiny handouts like 5 kg rations just to keep the 90% distracted while the elite hoard resources. Opposed to this is the protector economy. This is rooted in the BGVAN principles and something called the Nandi standard, which anchors wealth to tangible earth resources rather than digital fiat money, essentially weaponizing real wealth to create genuine stability. The contrast here is stark. On one side, you have the digital debt trap and corporate haircuts, where massive debts are just forgiven for the elite. On the other side, the proposed Rakshak, or protector solution, focuses purely on digital independence and collective rights. It maps out a profound shift from a system of dependency to one of sovereign rights over natural resources.
This brings us to our fifth point: Hiranagpur's legal sovereignty and the 5,600-acre iron wall.
The text zeroes in on Hiranagpur, an area absolutely rich in mineral wealth. But rather than using physical force to defend it, the author leverages legal jurisprudence. The book cites the Indian Constitution's Article 13(3)(a), arguing that customary law and historical usage actually supersedes standard parliamentary law when it comes to indigenous lands. It acts as an iron wall of legal defense. So what does this actually mean on the ground? Well, this specific legal interpretation gives the local sentinels across 32 villages absolute veto power. It allows them to reject external corporate infrastructure or extraction, establishing the 5,600-acre core of Hiranagpur as a globally recognized sovereign tech ecological zone, and it's all protected by the very constitution of the land.
Finally, we reach Section 6, the Kalki 2026 mission, and the call to join the digital Ulgulan.
The manifesto wraps up with a very specific, urgent promotional push to spread this digital revolution. And listeners, since today is June 21, 2026, this is highly relevant. The author has initiated a 5-day free download window for the English edition of Kalki 2026 on Amazon, which just started yesterday on June 20th. They're also offering one free book from their 18-book catalog if you subscribe to their YouTube channel, alongside highly discounted digital audiobooks in both Hindi and English on their Instamojo store to help fuel the mission. You can literally scan the QR codes right now to grab those digital audiobooks, visit the Amazon author page, and officially explore the intellectual revolution Nayak is proposing. It's a direct invitation to engage with the primary texts we've just decoded together.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final powerful thought. If, as this thesis claims, ancient myths were actually the stolen science of our ancestors, what else is the modern world hiding in plain sight? Thank you so much for joining me, Focus Learners. Keep questioning the framework, keep looking at the data, and I highly encourage you to dive into the source material to explore these concepts for yourselves. See you on the next one.